here in Louisiana. Here is Alex Abraham.
All right, and our eyes are certainly on the Gulf right now. It's not a system in the Gulf yet, but we're watching that system that's now moving over Florida and will likely emerge in the Gulf, it looks like, at some point tonight or tomorrow. So late Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are the days that we're watching for those rounds of rain, about 3 to 6 plus inches of rain. Continue to watch the forecast for now because this is not a developed system. We have a lot of uncertainty still about it because it hasn't actually formed yet. This often happens, of course, with these invests when they're just areas of investigation. A center hasn't formed. We're not exactly sure where it's going to be, so we need to watch everything as we get into the next couple of days, and we'll get a better idea, especially if it does get into the Gulf tonight and tomorrow. But for now, it looks like regardless of whether it develops, how strong it gets, etc., the big impact is going to be rain. 3 to 6 inches, but isolated, maybe up to 10 inches of rain. That's our new flood watch that's issued from 1 p.m. tomorrow all the way through at least Friday night from the National Weather Service. And here is the system itself. So you can see it moving over Florida with showers and storms with some pretty heavy rain in these pockets of reds that you see here near Daytona Beach and north of Orlando now. But look at the spin. Even though the low is centered right here, according to the National Hurricane Center, this came out several hours ago, and they will have a new update coming up soon in the next hour or so. And if you look closely, you can kind of see more spin a bit off to the north. This system has been sheared from the north, so it is more so on the south and west sides of the center that we're seeing most of the thunderstorms. So again, kind of this elongated north to south low is what we're looking at, and it's not very strong right now. We need to wait for it to tighten up and organize before we have a depression or a tropical storm if this does end up becoming a low-end tropical storm Dexter. But we are expecting it, for now at least, to move off to the west. We will see whether it heads a bit more northwest or a bit more south, but for now, medium chance of becoming a depression or perhaps a named storm. Our high resolution model, now take this with a grain of salt. The models have different solutions for when rain could start along the Gulf Coast, but I just want to give you at least some idea of what we're looking at. Today, rain chance about 30%, few spotty showers and storms. Tomorrow, 4 p.m., our model does have broad low pressure here in the northern Gulf, bringing a few scattered storms, not that different perhaps from what we normally see in the afternoons. But this will be the thing that we're watching more for, these waves of heavier rain. For example, this model has it Wednesday night, starting 11 p.m. or midnight. Now again, timing could definitely change on exact onset of the rain, but we do look like we will have at least that potential for a few of those rounds of rain, especially if this broad low that this particular model has, if it continues off to the west of us and then maybe stays somewhere in that general area into the weekend, that would bring even more rain. So for the moment, just looking at the steering pattern, we have a big high over us. That's keeping us hot for the most part today. A big high will build in from the east, and also this high pressure will start to move a bit farther to the north. So that's why we're thinking some sort of northwest or west track. There will also be an upper low farther to the south. And then that's by Thursday. Look at what happens by this weekend. If that low pressure does get into the Gulf near the coast and then rides along the coast, there is a potential for it to get stuck here as high pressure starts to build on the other side of it, and this big high strengthens to the east. And look at this, even into Saturday and Sunday, we could continue with some form of low pressure or messy rainmaker kind of scenario somewhere around the Houston area, but it might bring rain into Louisiana even into the weekend. So that's why we're looking at that flooding threat and the flooding risk as the biggest impact likely from the system. Even if we get some gusty winds or minor coastal flooding from a potential tropical storm, it's still the rain that we're most concerned with. So Wednesday, low risk for flooding. It goes up a little bit by Thursday. And look at this, exact placement of these colors will probably change, and exact rain totals will also change for what we're expecting. But the Weather Prediction Center has placed a part of south central Louisiana under that higher risk, a moderate risk for flooding all the way out on Friday. So not too usual to see it that far out. And then as we get into Saturday, maybe still a risk of some flooding rains. How much are we talking about? You can see the reds to yellows are indicating about 3 to maybe 6, but possibly more, maybe even some isolated 10. You can see why we have those numbers right now. And these are the models. Now take it with a grain of salt. There's not a developed system yet. But again, if it tracks farther north, that could keep it over land. If it goes far enough south, that could pull some of those higher rainfall totals maybe farther south into the northern Gulf. So something we're definitely going to watch. We need to see exact placement when it gets into the Gulf. Potentially tonight and tomorrow for where that low pressure center will develop, how far south or north it will get driven, and how much rain it could affect us with. But for now, keep watching the forecast. This is something we're watching really closely, and we'll know more in the next day or so once it does emerge into the northeastern Gulf.